Well, here we are, everybody, coming down the home stretch here. This is the last day of 1 week club for N Team. But don't worry, like I said, I always try and keep them as much in rotation as possible when I am outside of 1 week club. But now, I will admit that I am not always perfect about that. But I think there's a good way, in case if it feels like it's been a little too long, leave me a comment, recommend me a song. I will always try and go back. A lot of the times, my biggest problem is I just have horrible memory. I really do. So if it's been a little too long, just be like, hey, by the way, you should check out this. I'll be like, oh yeah, I should. And like I said, this is for every group. I try to cycle through, the groups that have 1 week club as much as possible. Sometimes it does get a little bit away from me. Even like groups that I super like, I will admit that I've been a little lacking on some of the content. But in any case, the truth is I want to keep N Team going on the channel, though, because I like them a lot. So, anyway, we're going to be starting off with Illumination. Let's see what we got going on here. See how we're going to start the day off, shall we? Whoa, very 80s right after that.
Baby girl, only my girl 明日からの日常に戻ってもきっと幸せだろう一年に一度の今日を忘れないようにカメラロールに思い出を残そう
Interesting. Okay. I have some thoughts here. Very cool. Okay. I have a small little theme that I want to talk about that this song kind of reminds me of. First and foremost, beautiful song, beautiful video. I love it. There's something interesting when it comes to winter and like songs like this. I typically associate winter and end of year, which to me that's what it is because I mean, even today we got, you know, some snow. And it's kind of funny because to me that is the sign of the end of the year. And there's a part of me that will always think and maybe mull over the year. When it gets to the end of the year, I do think a lot about what things I wish I could have done, what things I did do that I liked, what I didn't like. It's, I think, a way just for me to kind of cope with what has passed. It's kind of like a birthday, you know. End of the year, it's 1 year closer, 1 year around this, you know, the sun, and it just kind of makes you realize time is short. And I know that sounds weird, but that's how I relate a lot of times, like the holiday season. So when I was listening to this, I kind of felt like that there was that in there, that dwelling on of kind of looking back and be like, oh yeah. But you know what? I think, to be fair, a lot more in a positive sense. That's what I kind of like about this, is it's a lot more positive. So yeah, don't worry about that part. It gives me that pensive feeling on a couple of occasions. Very George Michael-esque song in some ways too. I think the thing that's always so interesting is the idea behind like the fresh start. I think universally most people are bought into the fresh start that, you know, you get during this time of year and this time of stuff. I think the one thing though, if I'm being real, one thing that I have to say that kind of struck a nerve with me about all this like thinking and all this kind of dwelling on the past and what the things you could have done, all this other stuff. I think the one thing that always comes back to this though is that it's also one of those quickest ways to just appreciate the small stuff. I think when you look at just how simple, you know, it is to find the positive, whether you want to or not, is kind of an interesting thing. And to me, this song is kind of talking a little bit about that, a little bit about, you know, the simple stuff and being thankful for it. I actually think this might be one of their prettiest songs. I don't know why. This song just kind of makes me really go deep into thought. This song absolutely is just like, for me, I'm listening to this, I'm just like, I do need to be more thankful. I'm so glad that songs like this exist to kind of like reinforce that, like, oh, you know, it's good to be able to find and be thankful for the simple things, for the good things, for the things that are, you know, that I have. And I just find that to be so nice. Okay, one more try.